Good morning to every student of class 7 who is watching this video, and I welcome you all to my biology class once again. In this class, this is our zoology class, right? So in this class we will be continuing the lesson what we had studied in our previous class. So what did we study in our previous class? We had started with chapter 3 for zoology, right? What was the name of the lesson? That is Kingdom Classification 2. Do you remember the classification of vertebrates and invertebrates? The outline chart even you had sent me in homework, right? So that we had studied in the previous class. So in this class we are going to study in detail about invertebrates. So in chapter 3 about invertebrates we will be studying in today's class. So in our previous class we had just studied the outline, the chart of the classification of invertebrates. So in this class we will be studying about the properties or the characteristics of each group of invertebrates. You have classified invertebrates into 8 groups, right? So about the characteristics of each group we will study today. So before we start the class, let's refresh or recall what we studied in the previous class. This is what we studied, right? The classification of invertebrates, and I remember telling you a mnemonic or a short trick for you to remember. What was that? Ponytail in this planet is an art of modern era. Do you remember this? We had already discussed, right? So PO for porifera, PO for porifera, NI for Cnidaria, and PLA for platyhelminthes, NE for nematodes, AN for annelids, ART for arthropoda, MO for mollusca, and E for echinodermata we had studied in the previous class, right? So in today's class we are going to learn about, so totally there are 8, and for today we will learn the first 4, that is porifera, Cnidaria, platyhelminthes and nematoda. So about these 4 groups in detail we will learn in this class. In next class we will learn the remaining 4, that is Annelida, mollusca, arthropoda and echinodermata is for the next class. So here in this class you are going to learn what are the properties of each group, what are the characteristics of each group. Okay, so before that I will tell you a fact. You know, you have studied in the previous class about animal classification that all animals in this world are classified into 2 groups, right? What are those 2 groups? One group is called vertebrates and the next group is called invertebrates. So how did you differentiate them? If they have a backbone they are called as vertebrates, and if they do not have a backbone they are called as invertebrates, right? So equally you have vertebrates and invertebrates, and vertebrates, if you just observe and see, vertebrates have backbone and you can see large animals in the group of vertebrates only. How? Say for example cat, dog, all other animals, monkey and human beings, everything come under vertebrates, right? But invertebrates, if you see, if you keenly observe, very small insects and those type of worms only can be seen mainly in invertebrates. But the fact is about 97% of the animal kingdom comprises of invertebrates only. What did I tell you? 97% of all the animals in this world come under invertebrates. The remaining 3% only occupy vertebrates. So such a high number of invertebrates you can see in this world. Okay. So we will start with porifera. We will learn the characteristic of every group in this class. The first 4 groups characteristic we will be learning in this class. The next 4 groups we learn in the next class. So we will start with a group called as porifera. So before learning about the characteristics of every group I will tell you one point. See, when I ask you describe a man, describe the features of a man, what will you tell? You will tell a man has 2 eyes, a man has a nose, a man has a mouth, and he has 2 hands and 2 legs, like that you will tell, right? So how will you tell this? You will just imagine a picture of a man or an image of a man, and then you will start describing or explaining his characteristics, right? So similarly, whatever you are going to learn in biology, either a structure, okay, or a diagram, what you should do is, when you remember a term, you should just get that image in your mind, the picture of that particular term in your mind. So if I tell the word porifera, immediately this picture should come into your mind, okay. And so how will you describe them? You should describe seeing the picture or the image. You should not memorize the terms and be learning always, okay. You need to look into the picture and then you should have the ability to explain. That is the right way of learning biology, okay. Do not memorize or mug up or by heart everything without knowing the concept or without knowing what it is, okay. Of course you can score marks that way also, but this is the right way to learn. So if you see this picture, what do you know? This group, no, porifera, they have a nickname, it is called as sponges. What is the nickname? It is called as sponges. Why? They appear like a sponge, no? So it is called as sponges. So porifera are the groups called as sponges. And from the term itself, what is pori or pore refers to? What is pore? Pore means it is a hole. Pores means it is holes, okay. Pores are holes. See, can you see small pores throughout the sponges? You can see, right? I am not talking about this large one, I am talking about these small pores. So this organism, the body of the sponges, the first characteristic is the body of the sponges have lots of pores, okay. So what is the first characteristic? The body of the sponges have lots of pores in them, they have body pores, okay. If you have something, it will help some way, right? If you have a pore, that will help the group of animal in some way, the group of invertebrate in some way. How it helps? This pore will let food and water to pass into. So what all it helps to get inside? Two things it helps to get inside. Which one? The pores help two materials to get inside. The first material is food and the second material will be water. So food and water will go through the pores inside. Okay. So inside what you have? Inside you can see, you can just peep and see inside. What is inside? Nothing, right? There is a cavity. What is cavity? Cavity means empty space. So this has a cavity or an empty space inside. So through the outer small holes, the food and water has entered inside. So what is there inside? Inside there is a cavity or an empty space. That cavity is called body cavity. Okay. So that is called as body cavity. And then see, you have a very big pore, a large single pore. Large, single means one, right? So large single pore. Again I told you, pore means, what is pore? Pores means it is holes, okay. So you have a large single pore here. You have a large single pore. What is the purpose of this large single pore? It is for expulsion or exit of waste materials, any organism. Okay. So before we learn about all the characteristics, I will tell you one thing. See, in invertebrates, no, it is not like the human beings. Human beings in digestive system, what all we have so many organs that will help in digestion, right? Starting from your mouth, your esophagus or pharynx or stomach, intestine, everything will help in digestion. For these small invertebrates are just small insects or organisms, right? So they will not have mouth or they will not have proper digestive system at all. Just an empty cavity will be inside and one or two openings there will be there. One either will act as a mouth or it will act as a excretory organ for the release of waste. So that is how invertebrates are made. They don't have a definite digestive system. Okay, so where do they live? Where can you see these type of organisms called as a porifera group? You can see them in aquatic environment. See, the picture itself shows it is inside water, right? So aquatic means it refers to water. So the habitat where they live is aquatic aquatic habitat, and most of them are marine. What is this marine? Marine means sea water, or the water which has salt can be referred to as marine water. So where do they live? Which is the habitat? Habitat means the place where they live. So in many places I will be using this word habitat. So habitat is the place where it lives. So the habitat for Porifera group is aquatic, and specifically it is of marine type. In the seas and oceans it can live. There are two examples given for this Porifera. See, Porifera is not the name of the animal, it is the name of a group, right? The group called as a phylum Porifera. So the examples, these are the names of the organisms. What are they? Scypha and Euspongia are the examples for Porifera. Okay, so Scypha, Euspongia. So repeat the terms again and again until you get the term in your mind. Scypha and Euspongia are two examples given in your book for the group called as Porifera. So this is all about Porifera group. What have we studied? Porifera have small, they are sponge-like structure. They have small pores through which food and water can enter inside, and inside what you have? Nothing. There is a body cavity, and you have a large single pore for the exit of waste materials. And these waste materials are not solid structure like human being. We excrete solid waste also, no? So for them it is not solid waste, but the waste is dissolved in water. Okay, it is dissolved in water, and then it comes out through this large pore. And then what you have seen, their habitat is aquatic, that is they live in water, especially in the marine habitats. And finally we have seen two examples. What are they? Scypha and Euspongia are the examples. So this is all about the phylum Porifera. Next we learn about, what is the next one? The next group is Cnidaria. So see, these two are the examples of Cnidaria. What is this? I hope many of you know this. This is jellyfish, right? And this is called as Hydra. So jellyfish and Hydra are examples of this group called as Cnidaria. I told you shouldn't pronounce like Cnidaria. It is C is silent, so pronounce it as Cnidaria. So let's learn about the characteristics of Cnidaria. So where do they live? What is the habitat? Again, Cnidaria group of organisms also live in marine environment. I told you marine environment means living in sea water. Where can you see jellyfish all? In the sea, right? If you don't cultivate it in your home, you see it in the sea, right? They grow in the sea. So aquatic environment, especially marine environment. And these organisms, the group Cnidaria have two types of organisms. Some organisms will be attached to the floor of the ocean. What is the floor of the ocean? In the deep ocean, you will have a sea bed, right? You will have a floor like surface in the sea, under the sea also. So that is called the floor ocean bed. Okay. So to that floor or the bed, this Hydra is usually attached. So some organisms of Cnidaria will be attached to the surface of the ocean, to the floor of the ocean, not surface, to the floor of the ocean. So if there is a ocean like this, see outside you see water like this, right? But the actual floor will be like this. You have some surface down. Okay, to this surface only the Hydra will be attached. Okay, it will not be floating, whereas other type of organisms will be floating. I told you there are two types of habitats. One is attached to the ocean and the next one is free floating. They will just be floating on the surface. Okay, so here jellyfish all can float in the water, whereas in the floor certain organisms like Hydra will be attached to the floor of the ocean. So then we will see about the other properties. What are the other properties? you can see, you can describe the nature of them. Okay, how they appear as very soft, no? Do they have bones or do they have hard covering on their body? No, they appear as very soft. So you can describe them as they have a soft body, and you can describe them as they are translucent. What is translucent? Generally the ability to pass a light, no? If there is a substance, if I have my hand like this and let light pass through this way, will it go that way? No, because it is opaque. My hand will completely block the light, no? It cannot let the light to pass through. But certain substances, suppose if you have a glass and allow light this way, you can see the light the next side, right? Because it is transparent. Otherwise, sometimes it is partially transparent, no? Say for example, you hold a paper, a white paper, and allow light to pass through one side. The next side, can you see light? You can see light, but very lightly, no? So that stage is called translucent, which means it is not opaque or it is not transparent. It can partially let light to pass through them. So this body is also translucent. So they have a body called as translucent body, which means it can partially allow light to see. It is like partially see through, no? You can see the other side of the organism, but you cannot clearly see what is inside. That's why it is called as translucent, which means partially transparent. So they have a soft body, they are translucent, and you have seen that they can be either attached to the ocean on the ocean floor, and also they some group of organisms are free floating. Jellyfish will float, but Hydra will attach to the ocean floor. Okay, so one more property we will see about Cnidaria. They have a opening. So here you can see the opening. So in the case of Porifera, you learned that usually the body has so many openings or small pore-like structures, and there is one big opening, no? So that we studied in Porifera, whereas here in Cnidaria you have only one opening. Can you see the opening? And that opening is called as mouth. So what is that called? The opening is called as mouth. Okay. So then what are the properties? One more property you have single hollow body cavity. So you have one body cavity. What is a cavity? I told you cavity means empty space, right? So you have single hollow body cavity. There is only one cavity. See, a single cavity. Cavity means empty space. Hollow means there is nothing inside. So you have one mouth, one opening, that is called as mouth, and also single hollow body cavity. So these are the general properties of Cnidaria. Right. So next you are going to learn about the organisms. What are the characteristics jellyfish will have, and what are the characteristics Hydra will have? That we learn in the next slide. Okay. Okay. So I told you there are two forms of Cnidaria. This is the continuation of Cnidaria group. One will be attached to the ocean and the other one will be free floating. So this free living forms, that is free floating type of Cnidaria forms. Example is jellyfish. You can see here, no? This is jellyfish. So what you are going to do, you are going to look into the picture of the jellyfish and explain the properties of the jellyfish. Okay, so when you look at this, what is the shape of the jellyfish? If I ask you what is the shape of this, what will you tell? You can call it as the jellyfish appears like an inverted bowl. See, this structure is like a bowl, right? So this bowl is like a inverted bowl. The shape of jellyfish is like inverted bowl. What can you see again? You have in the lower portion, you have so many tentacles. So this is called as tentacles. Can you see? So these are all called as tentacles. Tentacles. Okay. So they appear, the shape is like an inverted bowl with the lower portion having so much of tentacles. So what is the function of this tentacles? You must have seen in Discovery Channel all. So what they do with the help of this tentacles, they capture their prey. What is prey? Prey means their food. Okay. So this tentacles will help them to capture their prey. This is about the group free living form. I'll just show you. Okay. So what we have studied, there are two forms of Cnidaria group. Either they are free living. Free floating means free living. Okay, they are not depending or attaching to anything. They just float in water. So free living marine habitats, or else some will be attached to the ocean. So in this slide we have learnt about the free living marine habitats. The example is jellyfish. What is the shape of jellyfish? Inverted bowl. And then they have tentacles in the lower region, and the function of tentacles is they catch the prey with the help of tentacles. So this is about one type of Cnidaria. Next we learn about the next type of Cnidaria. What is the next type? The type which is attached to the ocean. I told you the example for the type which is attached to the ocean is, what example did we learn? We learned that the example is Hydra, right? So we are going to learn about Hydra. So see, this is the structure of Hydra. So what all can you see? What are the properties of Hydra? Examples for attached form, this is attached to the ocean floor. So what is the shape? It is like a vase, like a flower vase. The vase is like this, right? The vase where you put in the flowers for decoration all. It is like the vase. So the shape of the Hydra is compared to the shape of the vase. Then what you know? It also has tentacles. See, in jellyfish you learned no that the jellyfish had tentacles like this, right? So in jellyfish you saw that there were tentacles like this, but here you see tentacles in the upper region near the mouth. Tentacles are in the upper region. For jellyfish you had tentacles in the lower region, and for Hydra you have tentacles in the upper region. So how can you describe these tentacles? They are very thin, right? The tentacles are very thin, and then they are very long. See, you can see them being very long and slender, and also they are filamentous. Filamentous means like fine hair-like structures. So what you know about this type of this group of Cnidaria? These are attached forms, that is they can be attached to the ocean of the floor of the ocean in a marine environment, and then the shape is like a vase. The shape is like a vase. They have tentacles in the upper region, and the tentacles are long, slender and filamentous. So this is about the second type of Cnidaria. So next we learn about Platyhelminthes. So next group of invertebrates is going to be Platyhelminthes. So next we learn about a group called as Platyhelminthes. This word Platyhelminthes as a nickname, and that nickname is called flatworm. Why it is called as flatworm? Because see, this is the Platyhelminthes and this is flat in nature, no? So it is called as flatworm. Also, you can see that the structure of this group of organisms, that is Platyhelminthes, are leaf-like. So see, you can see that the structure is like a leaf, right? So this is called as leaf-like structure, and also they are flat. So these are the first two properties. Next we will see the habitat of Platyhelminthes. Where do they live? They exist as parasites. They exist as parasite. What does this word mean, parasite? Parasites are organisms which live on another organisms for their food. Okay, parasites will live on other organisms for their food. Other organisms in the sense, either they live in the human beings or they live in the animals, in the digestive system, in the digestive tract of human beings or other animals. These Platyhelminthes group, that is the flatworms, will live. Or sometimes they don't live on human beings or animals, they live in the marine water. So sometimes their habitat is sea water, or sometimes they also live in fresh water. So what are all the habitats of Platyhelminthes? They can either be found as parasites, which depend on other organisms for their living, either in human beings or animals, or else they can also live in fresh water or sea water. Then what is the next property of Platyhelminthes? They have one opening. Can you see a opening? Can you see this opening? So there is one opening for Platyhelminthes, and this one opening will act both as mouth as well as a way to pass out the excretory material. Okay, so human beings we have two openings, right? We eat through one way and we pass out the waste through other way, right? That is through the anus. Whereas in this organism, see, there is only one opening. It eats through the same way and excretes through the same way. This is one peculiar character of this group of animals. Then the examples for Platyhelminthes you should learn. Okay, what are the examples? There are three examples given in your textbook called as tapeworm, liver fluke and planaria. So tapeworm, these terms all you should learn, you should memorize. Okay, tapeworm, liver fluke and planaria are examples of organisms which come under this group. So now we learn about the last group of organism in this class. Okay, so totally there are 8 groups now. In this class we are learning about only 4 of them. So let's learn the last group called as nematoda or roundworms. So if you see the structure of this nematoda or roundworms, what do you understand? First you can see that it is very long, right? It is long. Then what can you see? You can see it is very thin, right? It is long, it is thin. The organisms of these groups, they are also called as roundworms. See, because it is round in nature. The previous group, what you saw in Platyhelminthes, they were flat, right? Whereas in this case it is round in nature. You call it as a cylindrical tube. It is tube-like structure and it is like a cylinder. Why you call it as a cylindrical structure? Generally in your maths all you must have studied area of a cylinder also. The cylinder is like this. So like this the body appears, so it is called as a cylindrical. Then what are the other properties of nematodes? The habitat, again like the Platyhelminthes, the habitat, they are either parasites. Parasites means they will live in the intestine of some other organism like human beings or animals. Just like the Platyhelminthes, they are also parasites, and sometimes they also live in soil and water. In all other groups of organisms what we have studied, they don't live at soil at all, right? All of them were aquatic. See, this group alone, nematode group alone can live in soil. Okay, so they can live in soil as well as they are aquatic. They can live in water as well as parasites in human and animals. And then what is the next characteristic? Okay, they have 2 openings. Okay, they have 2 openings. One is the mouth and the next one is the anus. So they have a defined or advanced digestive system. Just like human beings, they have 2 openings. One is called mouth and the other one is called anus. In human beings also we have mouth and anus. Similarly, this nematode group also have mouth and anus. So they eat through the mouth and excrete through the anus. This is one special property of this group of invertebrates. Is bit advanced compared to the other groups, because in all other groups you didn't have a separate anus for excretion, right? Only in this group we have seen about the anus. So this is a special property. Then finally, examples for nematodes. What are the examples? Ascaris and hookworm are the examples. So what all we have seen about nematodes? They are long, they are thin, they are cylindrical in shape, and then they exist either as parasites in human or animals, or sometimes they can also occur in soil and water. And then the digestive system includes mouth and the anus, like it's an advanced invertebrate. And then the examples are Ascaris and hookworms. So this is all about the 4 groups of invertebrates in today's class. Okay. So next we will see about the homework part. So for today's homework, before I give you the page number for homework, in your previous class I have told you to write the classification table, right? The first person who has learned the table and written and got signature from his parent and had sent me is this person, Ronald Risto. So this person first sent me, the student sent me the first answer signed by the parent. So good to this student, Ronald Risto. And what about today's homework? For today's homework, in page number 63 in your biology book, question number 1 has 4 subsections. Listen carefully. They have, the question number 1 has 4 subsections. So only 1 to 3 you are going to answer. You are not going to answer the 4th one. Clear? So in page number 63, question number 1, only from 1 to 3. You need not answer the 4th one in this. Okay, in question number 1 you have 4 subsections. Answer only from 1 to 3. You need not answer the 4th one. And WhatsApp me to this number, and as like every time, the person who sends me the first right answer, I will announce the name in the next class. So that is all for today's class, and until I meet you in my next biology class, bye bye to you all. Take care.